This is breaking news from Channel 7 Eyewitness News.
And then breaking news, a passenger plane with 81 people on board has crashed in Colombia. Only 5 people have survived. The plane was carrying a soccer team from Brazil when it took off from Bolivia and was headed to a game in Colombia when it crashed into a mountain.
Eyewitness News reporter Diana Rocco is in the newsroom with the very latest information. Diana.
Well, and Lori, good morning. With this breaking situation, we've been getting some new information into the newsroom. Sadly, this morning, authorities are now confirming that 76 people have died. That plane went down just before midnight with 81 people on board, mostly members of the Brazilian soccer team, on their way to Colombia to play in the Copa Sudamericana finals. 5 survivors were rescued this morning. This is new video of crews using flashlights to search through that wreckage, and ambulances pulling up as they rescued those 5 survivors. They're pulling up to a Colombian hospital there. Authorities responding to the crash site were able to rescue those 5. The chartered plane was scheduled to land at Jose Maria Cordova International Airport. The airport says the pilot had reported electrical failure before the crash and went down in a mountainous area outside of Medellin with the Chapecoense soccer team of southern Brazil on board. This morning, we have learned that one of those survivors is Brazilian player Alan Rochelle. We are told he is alive, talking, and now being treated at a local hospital. The team posted this video to Facebook from the airport before the athletes left Brazil last night after the crash. In a statement on that Facebook page, the Chapecoense team said, "May God accompany our athletes, officials, journalists, and other guests traveling with our delegation."
We are accompanying the teams necessary for Medellin, the firefighters and ambulance crews. The important thing here, seeing that there might be survivors, is saving lives. That's first and foremost. So we're here supporting them on this very, very sad story.
The Brazilian town where that team is from is in mourning right now, and South American Federation has canceled all activities until further notice as a result of this tragedy. Michelle and Lori.
All right, Diana, thank you. 5:31. Heavy rain on the way, and they're more than 7 minutes away from weather and traffic and Bill.
Here we go. We take a look outside this morning. We have cloudy skies. Heavy rain is on the way for your day today. And we're looking at temperatures that are around 53 degrees as we look across the Brooklyn Bridge, the East River, and looking over toward One World Trade on up toward the Empire State Building. 55 in LaGuardia and JFK. These numbers are way warm. Should be about 38 in the park to 28 north and west. Well, we got rain coming and warm air as well with it. You see from Scranton, Allentown, Reading, Philly, that's where really the line of rain is coming eastward. That gets here about 7 o'clock. Out the door you go. Grab your rain gear. Going to be a rainy day with temperatures in the upper 50s to 62 this afternoon. We're going to do it all over again tomorrow. We'll talk about that next. Weather and traffic together every 7 minutes. What's going on with the mass transit?
Well, we do have reports that there was a person struck by a train on the Harlem line of Metro North. So we're going to keep our eye on that and keep you posted. Long Island Railroad, New Jersey Transit running on or close to schedule. Subway service is also running on or close. And the George Washington Bridge inbound is minor. But on the outbound side, we do have a stall reported underneath the apartments. Minor delays, Lincoln and the Holland. And as you can see right over here, it looks like this is where the activity is as you go onto the outbound side, but no major issues as you come onto the inbound side. We have alternate side of the street parking rules in effect for today. Lori, over to you.
All right, Heather, thank you. It's 5:33, and today Mayor Bill de Blasio will outline changes to Vision Zero. It comes just hours after another pedestrian was hit by a vehicle in Manhattan. Eyewitness News reporter Drake Clark is live now in Lower Manhattan. Drake.
Good morning, Lori. Mayor de Blasio has made a really serious effort to try and cut down on the number of crashes involving bicyclists and pedestrians since taking office. He calls it his Vision Zero initiative. So later this morning, the mayor and the police commissioner will roll out a new program where people can track the number of crashes in the city and also identify where the real danger spots are around the city. Now, the 19th precinct on the Upper East Side is one of those sore spots for the city. In fact, just last night, a 66-year-old woman was hit outside a crosswalk at East 84th and 1st Avenue. The driver of the SUV that hit that woman actually stopped and stayed for the police. Meanwhile, the victim is still recovering in the hospital this morning. Now, just last month, the city introduced its new Dusk and Darkness Safety Initiative. The $1 Million campaign is all about warning people that during the winter and fall, particularly in the evening, those are dangerous times in the city. The number of severe crashes involving pedestrians actually jumps an astounding 40%. Now, we spoke to one man who lost his mother in a traffic crash 5 years ago, and he says, quite honestly, he's lost confidence in how the city handles the deadly traffic dilemma.
We're all going to die sooner or later. It's just a question of what's the cause, natural or unnatural. And I think in the city of New York, traffic death is perfectly natural.
Now, here's a look at the latest numbers here. There were 124 pedestrians and 17 bicyclists killed compared to the 115 pedestrians and 14 cyclists cut down over the same period in 2015. So right now, 2016 is outpacing 2015. This information coming from the city's Department of Transportation. Back here live now, that news conference with the mayor and the police commissioner is set to happen here at One Police Plaza at 10:30 this morning. We're live this morning in Lower Manhattan. Dre Clark, Channel 7 Eyewitness News.
Dre, thank you. Right now, police and the FBI are seizing evidence from the home and car of the man who drove into students at Ohio State before attacking them with a butcher knife. A police officer killed Abdul Razak Ali Artan, but he had already injured 11 people, one of them critically. Investigators say that just minutes before the attack, Artan was ranting on Facebook, saying he had reached a boiling point and made a reference to lone wolf attacks. Up to then, Artan had been a successful, well-regarded student.
So many people who are flipped by ISIS propaganda remotely look like they're leading successful lives. It's so hard to predict when the propaganda will get through to them to the point where they crack and go violent.
Artan recently was in the Ohio State student newspaper denouncing those who suspect all Muslims are terrorists. You can find more coverage on the OSU attack on ABC 7NY and our free news app. Good Morning America picks up our coverage live coming up at 7 a.m.
Today, the driver accused in the deadly crash involving comedian Tracy Morgan will be in court in New Jersey. Kevin Roper was driving a Walmart truck when he crashed into a limo van carrying Morgan and his friends on the New Jersey Turnpike back in 2014. Well, comedian James McNair was killed in the crash, and Morgan suffered a traumatic brain injury. Roper is charged with aggravated manslaughter, vehicular homicide, and aggravated assault. Let's turn to politics now, and President-elect Donald Trump is expected to make several key announcements about his transition team today. Trump is expected to appoint Georgia Congressman Tom Price as the Secretary of Health and Human Services. Price has been a vocal critic of Obamacare. And Donald Trump is also expected to sit down with Mitt Romney again for the second time since the election. He's being considered for Secretary of State, and this after Trump met with General David Petraeus, who's in the running for the same position. Senator Bob Corker of Tennessee is also a possible contender.
You're never more than 7 minutes away from weather and traffic together here on Eyewitness News this morning. A very fine news broadcast as we look from Times Square south. We got a good visibility. I mean, in the distance, you can see down to the Verrazano Narrows Bridge, and you can see down towards Sandy Hook, New Jersey. So all that's fine for now. For now. Rain is coming our way. You see here on the radar, it's starting to get toward western Jersey around Sussex, Warren County. Temperature is 52 degrees, and so that will keep working its way eastward. Today, we're looking at clouds and rain and 62 degrees, and it will be mild, but the rain at times could be heavy. It could create some flooding issues that we'll have to keep our eyes on. At the bus stop, kiddos, I think if you got the early bus, you're okay, but after school, got to have your rain gear, no question, after school today and tomorrow. So might get through without the rain this morning, but, you know, west of the city, 7, 8 o'clock, you're going to get wet. Temperature's going to be mild, though. It'll be 52 degrees. Weather driving together every 7 minutes. Heather, what's going on out there?
Well, this is the George Washington Bridge behind me. You can see going left to right. That's traffic coming inbound. Not doing too badly here, but we do have reports that there is a problem on the outbound side of the George Washington Bridge. It's underneath the apartments, and that's stalled truck. But you do have minor delays coming inbound at all 3 Hudson River crossings. Metro North, we're still hearing that we do have this police activity on the Harlem line. You may experience some delays. Long Island Railroad, New Jersey Transit doing okay. And we have alternate side of the street parking rules in effect for today citywide. Michelle and Lori, over to you.
All right, Heather, thank you. It is 5:39. Still ahead on Eyewitness News this morning. A crackdown on ticket bots. New York takes new steps to make it easier and possibly cheaper to buy tickets to see your favorite sports team and concerts.
Also ahead, a passenger opened an emergency exit while a plane was taxiing and jumped out. Stay with us.